We have studied about random and non-random sampling. This is in the sampling method only. In random sampling, lottery method and random number tables we have studied. Now we are going to take one example that how this random sampling is used in exit polls. You may have studied about those exit polls in which after election it is estimated or predicted that which candidate is going to win the election or which political party is going to win the election. So these predictions are made on the basis of random sampling only. By random sampling, this prediction is made. So how is it done? During exit polls, what happens that whenever election takes place, the television networks, I am reading from your book only, NCERT book, the television networks provide election coverage. They also try to predict the results. This is done through exit polls, wherein a random sample of voters who exit the polling booths are asked whom they voted for. So you may be understanding here, in exit polls what happens, the reporters used to approach to polling booths where the voters used to go and cast their votes. So the reporters used to collect some voters randomly. Okay, whatever type of sample they have taken, randomly they select any of the voters to ask the question to them that whom they voted for. And after this sample result, whatever the result is coming, this result is applied to whole population of the voters. Okay, so this is how it is done, that we come to know that which political party is going to win. These are the predictions, and this is what happens in exit polls. So random sampling is done there. Then after this we have seen here that one more sampling is there, which is called as non-random sampling. In non-random sampling, as the word suggests, that no sample is selected randomly. So how the sample is going to be selected? If not randomly, then how not randomly? So I am reading this page. Let me tell you that this is page number 9. So on page number 9 you will see non-random sampling. Here I am going to read here. There may be a situation that you have to select 10 out of 100 households in a locality. You have to decide which household to select and which to reject. It is very clearly written here that out of 100 households, if you are going to take 10% households to be surveyed, then these 10 households will be not going to be selected randomly, but the investigator himself can select any number of households, any household up to the counting of 10, because if the 10% sample is going to be taken. So out of 100 households, 10 households the investigator will select, and whichever the investigator is going to reject, he will reject. Whichever he wants to select, he will select. It depends on his own will. You may select the households conveniently. Now, how the investigator is going to select the households? The investigator will select those households which are nearby to him, or maybe these households are those households who are a friend of this investigator, or maybe these households are convenient to be surveyed. All these things will be looked after, will be kept in mind by the investigator. Then he will select the 10 households. So these 10 households which the investigator is going to select, maybe because of his convenience he has selected according to his own convenience, but maybe this type of sample will not be a representative sample, which is not going to give a perfect result, right? So this problem can come in non-random sampling, and this is why the judgment will be bias, a biased judgment. Biased judgment is that in which one's own personal feelings are put forward, right? one's own personal feelings that this is right. Maybe on the entire logically we'll say that it is not right. Only by his own personal thinking that this result is right is to be taken out. So there is a bias, the judgment is biased, and this way of selecting 10 out of 100 household is not a random selection, and this is what is called as non-random sampling. But in this type of sampling, non-random sampling, every every element of the population, every household is not having the equal chance to be selected in the survey, as in the lottery, as in the random sampling it was done, lottery or random number table method, where each and every household was having the chance to be selected in the survey. But here there are very less chances. So they are mainly selected on the basis of judgment, purpose, convenience, or quota and other, and are non-random samples. So when in non-random sampling, the households are selected on the basis of own judgment or maybe own purpose, convenience, quota. When all these type of elements are used on the basis of these things only, when we are going to select the sample, then this sample will be a non-representative sample, which is not going to give a correct result or perfect result. Then there are also some of the errors. There are also many of the errors which can be coming in these two type of methods, like maybe sample or census survey. So let's study about these errors. So if we see the errors in the sampling and non-sampling method, first of all, if we'll find out what are the errors in sampling method, then we can see that whenever we are going to take an average value, because in the sampling method we always used to take the average value. So in the average value, whenever we are going to take the average value which is estimated is actually not equal to the actual value. So the difference between the actual value and the average value, that is the estimated value, is called as the error in sampling method. To understand this thing, let's take one example. If you will see here, in a village of Manipur, there are 5 farmers. Say for example, total population of farmers is 5. And if we want to take out the average income of these 5 farmers, then each of the farmers' income you can see here, 500 plus 550 plus 600 plus 650 plus 700, we get the total equal to 3000. So 3000 divided by 5, as the average income of farmers, the formula is of average income is equal to total income divided by total population. So 3000 upon 5 will give us the answer as 600 rupees. So this 600 rupees is the average income of these 5 farmers in a village in Manipur. And if we are going to now take the sample of 2 farmers, out of all the 5 farmers, we are going to take the sample of 2 farmers, as we used to do in the sampling method. So when we take 2 farmers as a sample and take out their average income, then let's calculate. I am going to take the income of the first farmer, rupees 500, and the income of the first, second, third, fourth farmer. Okay, so 550 plus 650. First and fourth farmer's income I will take in a sample method, divided by 2. We'll take the get the average income of the sample population. So the average income of the sample population is rupees 550. But what we have calculated actually, what was the actual average income when it was calculated of total 5 number of farmers? Then we saw that it was 600. But the sample population's average income is coming with us as 550. So this is the error you can see here. There is an error of 50. There is an error of 50 rupees. So this type of error can also come whenever we are going to use the sample method, because the total average income here is not equal to the sample's average income, sample population average income. So these type of errors can come. But what we can do is that we can reduce this error. There is one method with us through which we can reduce this sampling error. How it can be done? If I am going to increase the sample population, if I am going to increase the number of people in my sample group, then this type of error will be reduced. Okay, so we can take, if 3 farmers income, if we take divided by 3, then automatically the error will be reduced. Say for example, if we take 500 plus 600 plus 700, first farmer's income, third farmer's income and fifth farmer's income, if we'll take, then 500 plus 600 plus 700 will give us the answer as 1800. 1800 divided by 3, I have increased the sample population. Previously we have taken 2 farmers. Now the answer will be 1800 divided by 3, 600. You can see here, as I increase the population, sample population, automatically what happened, that our error also got reduced. Here this time we have got the perfect answer as that of the total population's average income. But this is also a coincidence. It can come lesser than this 600 also, but it will be more than the smaller sample population's average income, right? So this is the type of error that we find in the sampling method. After this, if we'll see here, non-sampling errors, as we were studying here as sampling and non-sampling errors. In the non-sampling errors, these are the errors which are to be found in the sampling as well as non-sampling or census survey, or maybe sampling method, any type of method. In the non-sampling errors, what happens is that there are 3 type of errors which can be seen. Like in sample method, what happens, that there can be a mistake in the census method, that one error is there of error in data acquisition. So errors in the data acquisition, and another one is sampling bias or non-response errors. These are the 3 different type of errors we can find in the non-sampling errors. Okay, so first we can see here is sampling bias. In the sampling bias, what happens, that the targeted population which is to be taken in the sample population, those people are not included in our survey. Then what we get is non-representative sample, and this is what gives us a sampling bias judgment. It gives us a bias judgment. The result that we get is not very correct. Second thing is, in the non-sampling errors, the error can be non-response errors. Most of the time it happens that the person or the respondent to whom we are conducting the survey, these people, the interviewer is unable to contact these people who are included in the survey, whose names are there with the interviewer, and they cannot contact with these people, with that person. They are unable to contact these people or maybe that person. So this can or maybe the respondent can refuse to answer the questions. So this can be a type of you can say bias result we will get, because if the interviewer is not able to approach the person who is included in the sample, then he will have to select any other person who may be not included in the survey, then this could give a biased judgment. Apart from this, errors in data acquisition. Errors in data acquisition most of the time in the census sample, in the census survey. Most of the times the numbers which are to be written by the investigator or the numbers which the respondent is telling to the interviewer, these numbers can be by mistake written wrong. Like for example, instead of 1313, the enumerator has written down 31. Now this is the type of mistake which cannot be improved, which cannot be corrected, and this is how the errors can be found in the non-sampling errors, right? After this, if we will see how this census of India is to be collected, how this which agency is connected to collect this data for census. As I told you that in census survey, every element of the population is to be covered, every element of the population, and because of this it becomes an expensive method, expensive survey, which takes a lot of time and also cost is more to be incurred by the agencies. And in this collection of data, the agencies which are involved are at the national and state level. Okay, the agencies are at the national and at the state level, under which one very important organization is there which collects this data. It is called to be as NSSO, National Sample Survey Organization. These state and national level agencies are responsible to collect the data on the basis of utilization of educational services, maybe unemployment ratio in the country, manufacturing and service sector enterprises, how many are there in the country, morbidity, where people die due to diseases, the ratio of these people, maternity, child care, utilization of the public distribution system, rations, shops. All these type of data are to be collected by national and state level agencies. Among them is one of them is National Sample Survey Organization, which is NSSO. So NSSO's 60th round survey was there, which was conducted from January to June 2004, which was based on morbidity and health care. The collection was done. The collection of data was done on the basis of these two main topics. And in the NS National Sample Survey 68th round survey that was conducted in 2011 to 12, it was conducted to find out the total expenditure by the consumers. So in this way, NSS, that is National Sample Survey, is responsible to collect the details of industrial activities also, plus retail prices for various goods. All these type of different matters are being taken up by NSSO, National Sample Survey Organization, and it collects these type of data for the help of the government, how to make the policies. Through these surveys only the government can make policies, right? And they are used by Government of India for planning purpose, right? That is, economic planning is done by the government through these statistical data collected by National Sample Survey Organization. So hence we can see here that how the collection of data is to be done. We have seen from the beginning till the end, and the agencies related to the data collection. So the chapter is over. Bye for now.